Sorry to be so late.
Right.
Hi. This is a meeting of the Bennington Select Board. Today is May 18th. We're meeting at the Town Offices Conference Room at 205 South Street. We apologize for anyone that is inconvenienced by the late start because we had an executive session that started at 5:30 and just ended now about 20 past 6. But we will move into the portion of the meeting, which is basically the consent agenda. Could I have an approval for the minutes of the May 11th?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify aye.
Aye.
Everyone is
I'll abstain. I wasn't
voting,
here.
one abstention, so that's 6-4 and one abstention. The warrants have been circulated for review and signature. I will accept the motion or entertain the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion on the warrants as circulated? If not, signifying by aye.
Aye.
That's a unanimous approval of the warrants. We now have the opportunity for citizens to comment, and we always set aside that early on in the meeting, and welcome any citizen that would like to comment, albeit this meeting is sort of between two regularly scheduled meetings. One would normally be next Monday, which happens to be the Memorial Day holiday. That's why we had a meeting last Monday. We're having another one today. It's not that we so love to have meetings, but in the ordinary course of me wanting to get business done, we've decided to have a more formal meeting today. But if there are any citizens, hearing none, we'll move then into the next order of business. And part of the delay in having the meeting open to the public was the executive session in which appointments to boards and commissions were discussed. I will entertain motions on two separate fronts. One for openings in the Planning Commission, which I believe there are 2 openings that are available. I will entertain a motion for 2 members for appointment
Do
to
you
the...
want to both at the same time?
Yes.
I move that we appoint Nicholas Lassoff and Ken Swihart.
I'll second that.
Hearing the motions, is there any further discussion on those 2 individuals? If hearing none, I will accept a motion, a vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
That again is unanimous. That's 7 votes. The other vacancy that we're talking about tonight is the town service officer. We have 1 applicant for that.
Nominate Chris Oldham
I'll
for
second
the
it.
position of town service officer.
Having heard that motion, all in favor of the appointment of Chris Oldham as town service officer, signify by aye.
Aye.
Again, that is unanimous, 7 votes for.
We did include, Tom, in your packet, letters from incumbents for the Historic Preservation Commission and the Regional Commission. I don't know whether the board wants to act on those tonight or whether you want us to set up interviews for these.
Which boards?
They're all
Sorry?
incoming.
The Historic Preservation Commission, there are 2 positions
Oh, yeah.
open. Both incumbents have applied. And the Regional Commission, the 1 incumbent has applied. And you have those.
What's your pleasure, Board?
I think what we've done so far is only interview this go around, people with,
They're coming.
that
Yeah.
more than
Yeah,
contested seats.
I'm comfortable with
So,
appointing.
if unless anybody here wants to meet with them individually who haven't had a chance to meet with them.
Yeah, that's certainly the historical benefit of visiting with the new applicants or someone that a new board member might not have familiarity with, to give the board member and the applicant opportunity to visit. But why don't you suggest who the vacancies and the individuals are at this point?
For the HPC, Historic Preservation Commission, we have Ann Bugby and Joanne Herrenhouse for 2 positions.
Both incumbents.
Yes.
Are you comfortable in dealing with those positions tonight?
I am. I
I'll-
would
I am.
move that we fill those with those 2 candidates.
I'll
I'll
second that.
Any further discussion?
way.
If not, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Again, unanimous, 7 votes.
And for the Regional Commission, we have William Devono, who is the incumbent.
I'll move that we put William back in that position.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? If none, I'll accept the vote. All?
Aye.
Aye.
7 in favor. And again, thank you for all of the citizens for stepping forward. These are thankless positions in many cases, and we appreciate all of the efforts and time that these individuals have put in and will put in into them. And again, thanks for their civic participation. The next item on the reported agenda is the Select Board Rules of Procedure. I think I've been circulating that. And at the last meeting, which was last Monday, I started to editorialize on maybe we needed an additional provision in the rules relative to use of social media. And hearing the discussion at the last meeting, I'm not one to trample on First Amendment rights or anything else that goes along with the rights that we have as individuals. I think the discussion was sufficient to raise the bar of sensitivity, and I don't think we need a rule to have that expectation. It's always something that we as a board anticipate that the board members are going to be civil and appropriate, and also recognize that with the responsibility as an elected member, we have a higher recognized bar, and we should meet it. Having said that, if there is a concern, we should address it, and I'll be happy to address it either individually or through the board, and we can deal with it that way rather than try to articulate a rule that is probably difficult to enforce, as we talked about last week. You got a little thing in your collar. Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. So is there a further discussion on this?
I think it was good to bring it up. I think basically we all should just follow the guidance of common sense.
Yeah.
I agree. I was a little bit hesitant to that just simply because I think the rules need to be able to be enforced, and I don't know how enforceable, that was. But I think it's good you brought it up. I agree with where your stance on it is now. So
Great. So having said that, there's no additional provisions to the rules that I circulated, and I'd appreciate if we would take some steps to formally adopt those. And I'd entertain a motion.
I move that they be accepted as written.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the rules and regs? If not, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And there's a 7 vote approval of those. And they'll be circulated in part of basically our package for reference in the future. We now go to the manager's report and turn it over to you, Stu.
Very good. Very brief. Handed out at the beginning of the meeting a packet that contained a letter from the Green Mountain Club willing to commit up to $6,000 for the trailhead parking lot off of Branch Street. It also contains an estimate of our costs to have the town actually construct the parking lot, since we were not successful with the grant. And highlighted in the yellow are the costs of materials that we would be looking at initially. Much of the material we have on site anyway. So we're looking at around $3,800 given the original design, which was for half a dozen parking spaces. We actually believe, and the Green Mountain Club agrees with us, that if we could double the size of that, it would probably be much more beneficial to accommodate more people at the trailhead. So we are working in that direction, which is why the $6,000 figure has been committed. We're going to try to double the size of that lot.
the total out of pocket would be $3,800 plus in-kind services from our.
It would be in-kind services from us. Green Mountain Club would pay any materials costs that we don't or can't supply at the present time.
So our total budget number would be about $3,800.
Correct.
And Stuart, this is for the doubled size, or this is for the yet to be doubled size?
This would be for the doubled size. The $6,000 commitment allows us to actually expand the parking lot.
To what size too, I'm sorry, for how many days?
12. We're going to try to get to 12. A lot will depend on the easement that we grant. That was originally developed just for the current design.
Okay. Okay. So it will be more than 3,800.
The Green Mountain Club, yes, the Green Mountain Club's commitment is up to 6,000. And we think that will be
More.
But
sufficient.
even doubling the size is still only gonna be 38 for us.
Well, it's not even gonna be 38 for us. That's gonna be
We
covered
provide
by
the
Green Mountain.
services.
Okay,
We're gonna do the equipment and the labor.
okay.
And we have some materials already on hand from our crushing operations where we crush up the materials we dig from the roadways. So
Okay.
that material's on hand.
Time, do we have an idea on just how long when it?
Probably, we've still got to get the easement yet, and that's the Green Mountain Club that's committed to doing that from Mr. Denio. So we're probably looking at a fall project, if we're fortunate.
I just meant from groundbreaking to finish, you know, how long of a project this is, let's have our crews out working on this as opposed to.
I'm guessing clearing, grubbing, no more than 15 working days.
So what would you like from the board for consideration?
Just an acknowledgement that we're authorizing the town crew to take the project on and complete it.
And you don't think that would be of any risk of what you anticipate from this number, or these numbers?
That's correct. We're very comfortable with what's been presented here.
I think it's a generous contribution.
I
from
think
the
it is
Green Mountain
too.
Club.
I agree.
I think it's
a good
fantastic.
something good for our community, so I would support it.
Would you just like a consensus of the board?
Consensus would be fine.
Could I have that consensus?
You got it.
Absolutely. There. This is really special, because this is what puts us on the map relative to trail access. And it comes with involvement by both the town and the private citizenry. That's just what we're looking for. Maybe this is on a smaller scale for the big projects, but this is very much a part of it.
Good stuff.
And thanks very much for Dan's efforts.
Yeah,
and
Dan principally was the one that held the conversations. Bill Lyons had thought he might try to make it tonight, but he obviously didn't. And he's with the Green Mountain Club.
Just keep us apprised of developments.
We shall.
Thanks very much for that. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Really? Other business from the members of the board?
I have nothing.
Without even going around the room. Go ahead.
Just one point circulated earlier, actually maybe yesterday, was the employee survey, or a sample
Yep.
survey, that Michael, myself, and Bill have been working on. Bill actually sent it out to all of us. I'm hoping that we have an opportunity to review. It doesn't have to be tonight, any discussion tonight. The discussions can be, I don't want to get into the details, but additional questions that might be requested, or really any questions that any board members might have can be presented to any of the four of us or all four of us. And we're still hoping to roll this out at the end of June, giving our businesses and employers opportunities to respond at what we believe is going to be an appropriate time. And this will act, keep in mind that this will act as our first run. We hope to learn a lot about how to perform this survey with this survey.
I thought it
So,
was well done, I just wanted to say that.
thank you.
That was very well done.
I envision that there'll be a presentation early in June, because part of the word that you want to get out
Mhm.
is going to be part of the discussion that we would have, and hopefully yourself, Bill Colvin, and other members of the committee, and Mike Harrington could give us a run-through and what we're sort of looking at. And by then, I think you'll have the survey in its final, ready-to-go form. But it was a well-done product, I thought.
And timely.
Yeah.
I have to say, this is really very,
Yeah.
very timely.
I have to say that's because of Michael Keene's due diligence and research, and then Michael Harrington and Bill Colvin's ability to meet with each other multiple times through a couple of weeks and really press this issue. Yeah, there it is. And to get it done, because we all knew what the
Yeah.
timeline was and what we had to do, understanding that we needed a review first meeting in June.
Yeah, I'm gonna remember these timelines for other projects.
That's right.
That is, get them when they're hot and
Yep.
make them happen.
There you
Because I also anticipate that at some point, there's gonna be a citizens survey of some sort.
And actually, a lot of information was drawn from this
Yeah.
research,
Yeah.
this portion
Great.
anyway, to understand what we might ask and what we need to ask, so, and how to ask
Yeah.
it, so.
Good.
How long did it take you to formulate?
I'll
Hours.
tell you, we used a very good template from a very advanced community in another area that has been doing this for a long time. And that made things easier.
So how long was it?
Pardon?
How long did it take you to put it
to the.
Jim, from the maintenance standpoint, Bill and Michael's probably spent 2 or 3 hours putting it into the form that it is now. And a lot of that had to do with working with SurveyMonkey, which is the format that it will be issued with. And I think maintaining that should be a lot simpler as far as minor adjustments go. But we'll have to see what compiling that information ends up bringing out. I know Bill's used this in the past, and it's taken him a couple of hours to pull the information out and put it in a form that's usable and worthwhile. So
Well, I just want to say again that I thought it was well done, and the questions I thought were objective. There was never any sense of a weighted answer with respect to the questions that you were asking, and I think it's going to serve us well. I hope it will serve us well.
And it's a part of the toolbox, in what we spent on our session on Saturday morning relative to the scoreboard, scorecard.
Let's call it the citizens report.
Yeah, there we go.
The citizen, well, I'm still having trouble with the
I know.
balance score.
With the original
Yeah,
title.
Right, yeah. With the
Remind
report
me,
card.
what date did we decide for our next session? It was Monday, June 1st, was it?
June 15th.
June 15th.
June 15th,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. But that goes hand in glove with this, and I think we're all gonna find that that's a benefit to ourselves and also the community. So you put all this together, I think we're gonna have a real good idea of where we are going and how we get there. Thanks. Other members want to make any offers? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session on a personnel matter.
We'll move.
Second.
Contract matter, I guess it is.
It is a contract.
Thanks. So move second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are in executive session in 3 or 4 minutes.